yesterday, the Prime Minister of Canada released probably the most gaslighting video I've ever seen from a politician, which is really, really saying something considering that Trudeau was Prime Minister for 10 years. I tried to cover this yesterday, had some tech issues. I found a quick workaround because I really want to cover this and want to bring it to your attention, because this is absolutely nonsense. And I really want you guys to keep in mind the line from Mary Poppins, "A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down," because this video is that line embodied in politics. And I'm going to play it for you, and we're going to pause it a few times and just break this down, because he flat out lies in this video. And if you looked up gaslighting in the dictionary, you would see him right there, because what he's about to tell you caused the cost of living. First of all, we all know is a lie. And second of all, the way he's worded it and packaged this video is just, he thinks we're all this stupid. And quite frankly, this video should insult everybody that sees it. So without further ado, let's go over here and take a listen to what Mr. Carney has to say.
The cost of living. It's the number one issue on most people's minds. In order to fix it, we have to understand what caused the problem. Inflation shot up globally during the pandemic. Supply chains were completely upended, from factory closures to transportation delays, driving up the cost of everyday essentials. Overall, these pressures are now easing. But because inflation shot up so much during the pandemic, many prices are still high, and Canadians are still feeling the impact on their household budgets. For years, Canada's economy wasn't as productive as it should have been. Our major industries weren't investing enough, growing enough, or producing enough. The cost of everyday items went way up, and wages fell behind.
So he'd like you all to think that this was just a big whoopsie doodle, and that the forced, prolonged shutdowns by the government, also, and when I say forced shutdown, prolonged shutdowns, let's all remember that Doug Ford was all up in arms and ready to protect Ontarians' right to work, and this is ridiculous, this is too long of a shutdown, until Trudeau said, "Gee, I really hope that this doesn't affect your transfer payments this year." And magically, everybody was supposed to shut down again. But let's pretend that this was all just an accident and a big whoopsie daisy, like the frickin' Great Depression, or dealing with the war, the World War II. Let's pretend that this was all unavoidable, and that we weren't all forced to shut down for 6, 7, 8 extra weeks because of fear-mongering. Let's pretend that you didn't attack a specific sect of the country for standing up to the government, and then the Supreme Court said that was unconstitutional. Let's pretend that all of the other countries in the G7 who dealt with the COVID pandemic just like us managed to have their everyday essentials drop in price. We are still at 7.3% inflation, and the US is at something like 4%. Like, that's not okay. And you cannot sit here and expect us to believe that it is only because of COVID and the shutdowns that the government forced us all to do. And then the upended supply, like, this is, and it gets better. It gets better. Just wait. And I want y'all to notice He's not mentioning Trump or tariffs. Keep that in mind.
That's what created the affordability problem. Canada's new government has a plan to fix it. The best way to make things more affordable for Canadians is to increase your purchasing power by creating new, higher-paying jobs. To do that, we're securing new trade partnerships. We're attracting massive new investment in Canada, and we're fast-tracking new nation-building projects.
Now, we all know what he means when he says that they're fast-tracking nation-building projects. What we want nation-building to be is not what they think it is. Okay? They think nation-building is sending all of our arms and money to the Ukraine. And what we think nation-building is actual bricks and mortar and foundations, being dug and assembled into homes, and actual factual doctors, taking care of actual citizens. That's what we mean by nation building. Not the liberals, okay? But he's going to couch this all in, we've gotten a bunch of investment. We're getting new trading never mind who our trading partners are. Yeah, I know they look like they come, like it looks like we're partnering with communists and dictators. Just don't worry about that. It's okay. It's all right. Just pay attention to the check that's coming into your bank account. And also don't pay attention to the fact that that money is technically yours anyway. And we're not going to let you have it in the first place by reducing the taxes. But we're going to play a little bit of a sleight of hand, and we're going to make you think that this is just, nice extra money.
We're already seeing results, but some of the biggest payoffs will take time. And many Canadians need a boost today and a bridge to that better future. So as we build our economy, we're bringing in new measures to make life more affordable. We canceled the consumer carbon tax on day one.
No, you didn't. You absolutely did not cancel the consumer carbon tax on day one. It took a long time. You said in your election platform that the consumer carbon tax wasn't a good idea. But then once you got elected, it took you almost a month and a half to then cancel the consumer carbon tax. First, you danced around the fact that there was no spring budget. You were ordered to produce one, and you said, your order is duly noted. And then just before Parliament shut down for the summer, you went, fine, we'll cancel the consumer carbon tax and we'll send out the rebates on July 15th, okay? Can you shut up now? You did absolutely not cancel the consumer carbon tax. That's hard to say. Consumer carbon tax on day one. That is a lie.
We cut income taxes for 22 million middle-class Canadians. We cut taxes for first-time homebuyers. We protected essential social programs that bring down costs for Canadians. And we're moving fast to get more houses built so your costs can come down.
Now, what he actually said there was, we cut taxes for 22 million Canadians by fudging the tax bracket a little bit and including more people in one and less people in the other. And we backed social programs that bring costs down for Canadians, except for the fact that they are paying for them out of their tax dollars twice, because federal dental care is now paid for by taxes, as is the already established provincial dental programs subsidized by the provincial social services. That's just one example. Now, and then he says, we also cut GST on the first-time home buyers. That's an idea they stole from the conservatives after they were elected and said that that idea was stupid. So let's keep going here, okay? Because we're about to get to the most insulting part of this video.
One area that needs special attention is the cost of groceries. So we're stepping in. Right now, a family of 4 receives about $1,100 a year with the existing GST credit. With the new Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit, that same family will receive nearly $1,900 this year and about $1,400 a year for each of the next 4 years.
And then after that, we're going to play some fuckery with your taxes because we have just completely taken away the term GST and HST rebate and named it something else. So in 2031, we are going to do something that can't be undone because we've already changed the name of the benefit. And also, let's not remind our friends that this is basically just them handing back money they've already taken from you. But they'd like you to forget that. Okay? This is not money they've taken from you and are just giving a portion back. No. This is a benefit. This is a tax benefit, not a rebate. No. It's a benefit. You can't call something a benefit if it comes out of money you've already taken. That's like a freaking parent, somehow their teenage child gets a job, okay? Let's say they get their first job at Tim Hortons. And their parent somehow gets a hold of their money or whatever, and they steal, or they say, tell you what, you can live here, but I want 10% of your paycheck. And then at the end of every month, the parent comes over and goes, here, I'm going to give you back 10% of the 10% that I've taken from you. And the kid's supposed to be like, oh, thank you, Mommy. No, fuck you.
Now, if we keep increasing productivity, creating good jobs with better wages, in a few years, people's household incomes will catch up with their everyday costs. Until they do, we're putting more money in their bank accounts 4 times a year. We can't control the weather or what other countries do. We can control what we build, and we choose to build Canada strong.
Did you hear that? We can't control the weather or what other countries do, but we can control what we build. Yes, you absolutely can control what you build. However, you have chosen to build debt. And the fact that you think that either the people that voted for you are losing their faculty enough to just not pay attention and just continue to toe the anybody but blue line, and you also think the people that vote blue are absolutely idiots, because that has to be your thought process, because there is no other reason for that ridiculously insulting lie of a video. Because anybody who's been paying the least bit of attention and engaging any kind of unbiased critical thinking skills over the past 10 years would have noticed that all of these things have been manufactured by a specific group of people. And as soon as the people that oppose these actions step up and say something, we're racist, we're xenophobic, we're hateful, we're bigoted. Meanwhile, we're just like, hey, it would be really nice if we could all eat and pay for our homes and pay for clothing and have, extra money to get our children into, sports without having to access more government funded programs that we are also paying for through our taxes just to let our kids do fucking swimming lessons. This is nuts. They are making people, and I'm all for social safety nets, okay? But they are making people depend on social safety nets, then driving up the taxes to pay for them, then adding ones that don't need to be there at the federal level because they already exist at the provincial level. Then they turn to us and go, oh, look at how many of you are accessing these programs. Aren't you glad we have them here? Oh, we just need a little bit more tax to pay for them. And meanwhile, the people that actually need these services are getting less of the services because the middle class is forced to access them because the government is literally squeezing the middle class dry. And then going, aren't you grateful for all the programs that we're taxing you for? Well, no, because they're shoddy now because so many of us need them. And if you fucking balanced out the taxes and didn't send all of our money out of the country and didn't import workers to run our fast food chains and then get angry at us for pointing that out and calling us racist, things would go a lot smoother. But no, instead, let's print money, then export money like it's a freaking product, and then turn to our citizens and go, sorry, Jack, you're screwed and you're going to be happy about it. That's what that video means. And I hope you understand that. And I also hope that the people who are looking in from the outside understand that the majority of us did not vote for this shit. And the majority of us, especially with all this floor crossing nonsense, are becoming more and more disenfranchised with voting. And we need to get this fixed now, because if we don't, anybody will realize that when they get into power, all they need to do is go for the weak backbenchers of the opposition party and get them to cross the floor, and there will be no penalty for it because there's nothing in the Election Act that says, hey, no, your constituents voted for a specific thing that you ran on. You either resign or shut the fuck up and do your job. So that's what Mr. Carney put out yesterday. I hope that finally, third time's the charm, this video sounds good and is good, and there's no voiceover noise. Have a wonderful day. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.